from the Rio Gold as Team New Zealand retains the heavyweight crown of world sailing.
The America's Cup is the biggest crowd puller in sailing. A trophy that originated in Britain in 1851 and has since attracted big money, big egos and big sailing heroes. And in 2000, New Zealand was the first country to successfully defend the Cup outside of America. But Britain wasn't involved. Great Britain had been out of the America's Cup since 1987, but November the 22nd this year was a significant date. In Auckland, a British syndicate officially opened the compound that will form the headquarters for the first British America's Cup Challenge for 14 years. A team of Britain's best sailors, striving together to put Britain back centre stage in the biggest sailing contest of them all. For the nascent GBR Challenge, there was early success. At the 150th America's Cup Jubilee celebrations, held where it all started on the Isle of Wight in August, the team beat America's Cup holders Team New Zealand. A formidable start.
Hopeless times to roam, the distance to your home fades away to nowhere.
GBR Challenge narrowly lost to the mighty Italian Prada team in the final. But British sailors had proved they were capable of great things, and as the man behind the challenge led them onto the podium, they were rewarded with the trophy for winning the historic Round the Island race.
Some of the Team GBR Challenge winners today.
A successful businessman and a sailor himself, Peter Harrison has given British sailing a valuable chance.
Sailing is a pastime for most people. I mean, I've been an amateur sailor and enjoyed sailing, and I've done cows competitions and so on and so forth. It's a big, big leap up from any competitions.
When Britain had its last campaign, you know, those people were my idols. I was a young kid.
When you look at Australia, they talk about winning the America's Cup as a defining part in their country's history.
But with a steep learning curve ahead, the first appointment was a New Zealander with massive experience.
This is America's Cup number 6 for me, so there's been all sorts of different campaigns in various shapes and sizes. There's no question with this team that we've got a lot of enthusiasm, and there's certainly a lot of determination. And so for us, everybody's making the most of it for sure and giving it 110%.
Everybody in this yard is one of the best, if not the best, in Britain at doing their respective job on the boat, and they all have personal ambitions to be successful in the America's Cup.
I see a lot of similarities with the British team to what we had back in 1985 when we started the New Zealand Challenge. There's certainly the same enthusiasm, the same determination, the same eagerness to learn, and the same approach to actually sharing knowledge and actually trying to get everybody in the organisation to a better and higher standard.
But there is one high-profile British sailor working for the opposition. Ben Ainsley is sailing for America.
Sometimes I wonder, there's a British America's Cup Challenge and I'm not part of it, and that sounds to me a bit crazy. But at the end of the day, I'm part of the One World Challenge and I'm happy with that, and I do all I can to help this team be successful.
Thanks a lot, guys.
The America's Cup is a big logistical business, with 2 sailing teams, shore crew and families. There are 80 people in Auckland.
We work 6 days a week here, have Saturday afternoons off, I think, and they're out sailing on the Rio Gold, which is the actual competition waters, about 3/4 of an hour to be towed out from here. So they're out training there 4 or 5 days a week. 2 boats, one-on-one, building up match racing, sailing skills and boat handling skills, navigational skills, weather skills.
It's a job, and a lonely furrow ploughed a long way from the glamour of competition. But success is about hours, days, weeks and months spent training and testing.
Sailing, it's very important to train in the venue where you're going to be racing. So a lot of sailing is about judging the wind shifts, judging the tidal currents, and in order to gain the experience you need to sail in those waters. It's something we did an awful lot for the Olympics. We did a lot of training in Sydney before the Sydney 2000 Olympics.
But it's not just one boat, but two boats, and a technical infrastructure that Harrison bought from a former Japanese America's Cup team, a key move.
It's rather like buying, two last year's Formula One racing cars. And it meant to say we could put our drivers in, the crew of course in the racing yacht is 16, and they had the best vehicles effectively to work on in this summer to build up all their match racing skills.
I think there's no question that getting the Nippon boats was a big boost, and without that, in fact, we would have been better off to sit this one out.
And so by day, the team is out on the water testing sails, design features and sailing techniques, as well as working on their personal aspects. It's a physical game.
I guess people physically need to put in an awful lot in training. You can't be fit enough, you cannot be strong enough, I believe, for these boats. We've put in a vast amount of effort into that already, and we've still got a year to go.
It makes for a long and arduous day at the office.
Well, the alarm goes off at 10 to 6. And then it's a mad scramble to get your gym kit on, and then down the stairs, out the door and across to the gym where we start just after 6 o'clock. Greg Searle and Ian Wheel normally concoct a fairly punishing regime for us.
We do a circuit, which everyone's doing today, which I think they hate, but it's pretty good for them. We're doing heavy weights and then trying to do some good sessions to get everyone in shape, fat burning wise. I think everyone's getting into quite good shape. Move over here now.
We sort of finish the programme by 1:15, stretch and wind down till half-past. Then again, over the road, quick shower, into your work clothes, down to breakfast for 8 o'clock. Quick breakfast, and that's all together as a team.
I want to see at least 6 steaks on there.
Yeah, I know. Some orange. He's my mentor.
And then down to the yard for 8:30 where we have the morning briefing and make the outline plan for the day. It normally then takes the best part of an hour to get all the sails on the boats and get the boats ready to go sailing, so we'll maybe leave the dock at 10:30. Out on the Gulf, we then train from maybe 11:30 till sort of 4 o'clock, which means that by the time we get back to the dock it's 5 o'clock. And then of course everything's got to be taken off the boat, the sails have got to be dried, the boat's got to be taken out the water, and then everything has to be daily service, so the winches will be taken apart and checked, and all the rigging has to be checked, all the hours has to be logged, and then everything basically on the boat has to have a daily check so that it's safe and ready to go in the morning. So most days you wouldn't expect to get out of here until sort of 7 o'clock at the earliest.
But to do well, Britain will need a fast new boat, which the design team is working to deliver. After months of building testing models, on November the 1st, the designers had to try and pick a winner.
A couple of boats really did start to shine, and a couple of directions started to make sense. And so we worked those two directions pretty hard, and one of them came out a clear beneficiary, a clear top boat in terms of the profile that we wanted to set ourselves. So for us it was actually, relatively speaking, an easy solution.
So, while the new boat is being built behind closed doors in England, in New Zealand life carries on. On December the 1st, a visit from the Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott provided a diversion from working towards the long-term goal.
I think people have always known that we've had good sailors. The results in the Olympics have shown that we've got the talent within the country, and now that Peter's given us this chance to put that and translate it onto the America's Cup stage, everybody's grateful, gunning for it, and I hope people see that enthusiasm from the outside.
Look at the GBR challenge. I think they're doing a fantastic job. You know, with where they've come from and what they've got, I don't think they could be doing any better than they are.
Curious eyes cast towards the opposition, anxious to know Britain's fate.
My analogy is it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Nobody ever gets all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle in the right place. It's whoever gets the best looking picture that's going to win.
One of the things from the business world I've learned is that the big battalions do not win every time.
I know for sure that with the talent and determination and the attitude of the guys that we will surprise some of the big boys, there's no question about that.
In February and March, GBR Challenge will race in the Road to the America's Cup regattas, where they'll compete against other challengers and the Defenders Team New Zealand. In England, the new boat will be launched in April. And in October, it's the first race in a 3-month journey to the America's Cup 2003.